Imagine walking the streets of Camden, London, an area known for its eclectic mix of markets, music venues, and vibrant street life. But beneath this lively exterior, there was a darkness that no one saw coming. Anthony John Hardy, born in 1951, seemed like a regular guy, an engineer with a wife and kids. But behind closed doors, Hardy was battling demons. His violent outbursts and heavy drinking cost him his marriage and career. Diagnosed with bipolar disorder, his mental state deteriorated over the years, and he became a familiar face in Camden's seedy underbelly. By the early 2000s, Hardy had slipped through the cracks of society. He lived alone in a council flat, spending his days wandering the streets and his nights indulging in twisted fantasies. Neighbors knew him as a loner, but they had no idea of the horrors he was hiding. In January 2002, Hardy's first known victim, Sally White, was found dead in his flat. She was a vulnerable woman with a history of homelessness and sex work. The scene was disturbing. Sally was naked and posed in a manner that suggested something far more sinister than a natural death. Yet, when the police arrived, Hardy remained calm and composed. He claimed he found her dead and didn't know what happened. Shockingly, the coroner ruled Sally's death as natural, citing a heart attack, and Hardy was released. This gross oversight allowed him to continue his murderous spree unchecked. Over the next year, Hardy's fantasies grew darker. He began luring more vulnerable women to his flat, where he would strangle them, dismember their bodies, and dispose of their remains in garbage bins around Camden. But Hardy's arrogance would be his downfall. In December 2002, a homeless man scavenging through bins near Hardy's flat made a gruesome discovery: dismembered body parts wrapped in black plastic bags. The remains belonged to two women, Elizabeth Vallad, a sex worker, and Bridget McLennan, a homeless woman. Both had been brutally murdered and mutilated. The police immediately linked the discovery to Hardy, and when they searched his flat, they found even more disturbing evidence. There were traces of blood, murder weapons, and photographs of the women's bodies in various stages of dismemberment. Hardy had meticulously documented his crimes, as if he wanted to relive the horror over and over again. During his trial in 2003, the full extent of Hardy's depravity was revealed. He had a pattern, targeting the vulnerable, luring them into his lair, and then satisfying his sadistic urges. The media dubbed him the Camden Ripper, drawing eerie comparisons to the infamous Jack the Ripper. But unlike the Victorian-era killer, Hardy wasn't targeting prostitutes for their profession. He was driven by a need to control, to dominate, and ultimately to destroy. Hardy's trial was brief. Faced with overwhelming evidence, he pleaded guilty to the murders of White, Vallad, and McLennan, sparing the families the anguish of a full trial. The judge handed down a life sentence, with a recommendation that Hardy never be released. There was no remorse, no apology, just a cold, calculated acceptance of his fate. Anthony John Hardy spent the rest of his life in prison, where he died in 2020. His death marked the end of a chapter in Camden's dark history, but the scars of his crimes remain. The women he killed were not just victims of a twisted killer, they were victims of a system that failed to protect them, a society that overlooked the signs of a predator in its midst. Your engagement helps us keep digging into the mysteries that captivate and haunt us. So comment down below with your thoughts and theories on this story. And thanks for watching.